about your conversations with the police that day led you to conclude that Old Dog had given them your name? Okay, so, objection, sustained. Did the police tell you why they arrested you? Yes. Objection, sustained. Did you have a conversation with anyone else that day that you were locked up? Yes. Who did you talk to? Showtime. What did you tell Showtime? Objection, overruled. I told him that, this N-word told. And Show said that he was going to speak to La about it because La was on the island at the time with Old Dog. And so I was like, all right. He said he was going to handle it. So I hung up. So where was La at that time? I believe he was on Rikers Island at that time. And he was with who? Old Dog. Time frame? Can you give us a time frame for this conversation you had with Showtime about Old Dog having told? Oh, this was sometime between 09 and 10. Was it the day that the police arrested you? Yes. That you testified about a moment ago? Yes. Okay. What happened after you told Showtime that you thought Old Dog was telling on you? So I was there, and the police came back, and he was like, oh, the kid said it wasn't you. And they let me go out the precinct. The police said what? Objection. Sustained. Did you have other conversations with Showtime and La about what happened to Old Dog? I had conversations with, yes, both of them. And what did they tell you happened to Old Dog? Objection. Overruled. They said that, Show told me that he had got the button pushed on him, and he ended up getting his jaw broke and getting beat up real bad on the island, on Rikers Island. What does it mean to get the button pushed on you? Meaning that you violated the gang's rules in some type of way, and now, like any other gang member that sees you, they had a right to put hands on you, beat you up or cut you or whatever. You testified yesterday that you pled guilty to a murder. Was that based on your relationship or your membership in the Bloodhound Brims? No. When did that murder take place approximately? Early 2000s, way before I was a Bloodhound Brim. Where were you living at the time? In Queens. Who did you kill? A man named Noel. How did you know Noel? So, I was locked up with his brother, and I came home, and his brother introduced me to him. What were the events leading up to that murder? So Noel's brother and I, started selling drugs for them on 101st Street in Queens. And it was all good for a minute. And then I ended up meeting another set of people through a friend of mine, a guy named Dre Bay. I met Jason and Tiger through a guy named Dre Bay. Dre Bay? Yes, sir. Do you know how to spell that? Drebay. All right. So I met these group of people, and I didn't know at the time that these two other people was actually beefing with each other. Just to be clear, what two groups of people are you talking about? So, one group consisted of Noel and his brother, and the other group consisted of Tiger and Jason. And they were beefing? Yes. Both of them was from the other side of Queens. They're from Flushing. So, like I said, I was selling drugs for Noel and his brother, and I ended up meeting Jason and Tiger. Once I met them, I was hanging out with them a lot. And then I found out that they was, going at each other, beefing with each other. And Noel ended up asking me to kill Tiger. Did Noel offer you anything to kill Tiger? Yes, he did. What did he offer you? A brick of crack. How much is a brick? Around 30,000. What was that worth? So if I got it for 30, I would probably have made 40 something. So a brick is worth $30,000? Yes. Can you hold up with your hands what a brick looks like? It's like this big, like that thick. Do you know how many grams that is? That's like 1,000 grams, 1,009. And you said it was cocaine or crack cocaine. Crack cocaine. Did you agree to kill Tiger when Noel asked you to? Yes. What happened next? So he ended up giving me a gun to kill Tiger with. Who did? Noel. Okay. But me and Tiger and Jason had gotten really cool. So I ended up telling them about the situation and letting them hear phone calls about how Noel wanted to do something to Tiger and his sister. So they got really mad about that. And they was just like, Yo, we got you. Don't worry about it. We got you. You know, kill him. So we ended up one day meeting somewhere. Me, Jason, Tiger, and Drebe. We ended up hanging out together. And I got a call from Noel. And he was just like, you know, bring me the gun. So I was already with Jason and Tiger. So I was like, all right. And I told them about it. So we ended up going over there telling them to meet us on Northern Boulevard. Let me pause you there, Mr. Morton. When you said that Tiger told you, we got you, what did you understand him to mean? Meaning like he was going to pay me to do it? To do what? To kill Noel. Okay, so what happened when you met up? So me, Tiger, Jason, and Drebe, we pull up over there and I jump out the car. I see somebody I know. I went to a backyard and I stashed a gun into like some bushes in the backyard. So a couple minutes later, right after that, Noel came in. And when he came in, I had gave the gun to somebody else, but they didn't do it. So I just grabbed it and I fired the gun. And Noel ran out the gate. And when he ran out the gate, Jason fired the gun. So after all the shots stopped, I ran back out, I got in the car, and we drove off. Did you later learn that Noel died? Yes. What kind of gun did you have? It was a Uzi. What kind of gun is that? Like a machine gun. Where did you get that gun? From Noel. After Noel was killed, where did you go? So I went to the Bronx. Then I went to Virginia. I went to Atlanta. I went to Alabama. I went to Ohio. Why did you go to all those places? Because I was on the run. I didn't want to get arrested for it. How long were you away from New York City? Maybe a year and a half, in and out. By the way, did you ever get the payment that Jason and Tiger offered you for killing Noel? No. At that time in your life, were you allowed to be away from the state of New York? No. Objection. Overruled. No, I wasn't. Why not? Because I was on parole. What happened when you returned to the city? So, I ended up getting locked up and went to Rikers Island, and they ended up telling me that all the cases was dismissed that I had against me. Well, what did you get locked up for? So I had a parole violation. What does that mean, a parole violation? It's like, when you violate your parole, they send you back to prison. Were you ever charged for that murder? No, I was not. Based on your conversations with Showtime, was he aware that you had done that murder? Yes. What about La? Was La aware that you did the murder? I'm not for sure, but I believe so. What effect did that murder have on your reputation within the Bloodhound Brims? Objection. Sustained. What was your status in the Bloodhound Brims? I had to high. I was right in the middle of GF. Your Honor, can we ask for a time frame? Yes. When were you the high for the Bloodhound Brims? Between 2008 and 2011. Were you in the high the whole time you were in the gang? Yes, I was. Is that right, Mr. Morton? Well, I mean, until the end when Show got kicked out. I had went on a visit with Streets and La. Me and Streets went to go see La, and he may be acting GF at the time. Okay, so at some point, you were elevated to GF? Yes. Have you been involved in another shooting in Queens? Yes. Was that related to the Bloodhound Brims? No, it was not. Where were you living at the time? In Flushing. And approximately when was this? Man, before you were a member of the Bloodhound Brims? Yes, I believe so. I don't know the date of that. Who did you shoot? A kid named High Top. Who is High Top? High Top was a drug dealer out in the projects in Flushing. What led you to shooting High Top? So, at first me and him was cool, and I don't know what happened. And then one day we was all standing in a group, and he walked by. He said, "What's up" to everybody. He didn't say, nothing to me. So I was looking at him like, "Yo, what's your problem?" And I cursed him out a little bit. So we ended up having a fist fight. So we had the fist fight. And then a day or two later, I was out there. He ended up pulling out a gun on me. And then after that, like a couple days later, I seen him again. And I had a gun and I pulled it out and shot. Did you hit him? Yeah, he got shot in the foot. I want to turn you back to the time that you were dealing drugs in Parkchester. Do you remember talking about that yesterday? Yes. And you previously testified that you were shot by Crips. Is that right? Yes. Have you also participated in a shooting yourself in that area? Yes. Who were you aiming at? The Crips. Was that the same day that you got shot or a different day? That was a different day. That was before I got shot. And where did that shooting take place? Actually, on the same block that I got shot, on White Plains Road. Besides you, who was shooting that day? Crips. It was a few of them. A couple of them. Was anyone hit? A little girl got shot.